Hello everyone, my name is Anne and this is Wibbly Wobbly Book Nerd and welcome back to my channel. First off, I want to say that I'm getting a slight cold, so my voice is a little bit raspy is what I would call it, so I'll just roll with it because this video is long overdue because I am finally going to be talking through my 2019 reading stats. I have all the books I read written down in this handy notebook, and I am not going to go over all of the books, but I will tell you about all the statistics of my reading journey this year. So, first of all, this year I read a total of 62 books, which I think is quite a lot because my Goodreads goal was 40 books, and I think I did quite well. I am quite proud of myself. I read a lot of audiobooks, a lot of ebooks, but also a lot of physical copies, and I loved quite a lot of them. So I read 62 books, which totals in 22,464 pages, which I think is a lot. I'm pretty proud of myself. And the longest book I read was Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini, which is 613 pages. The shortest book I read was Women in Battle, and that is a graphic novel about awesome women in history throughout our time, and that was 130 pages long. My average rating this year is ridiculously high. I don't know if that is because I just am very good at picking books that I like, or if I'm not reading critically enough. No matter the reason, my average rating is 4.6 out of 5 stars, and that's quite high. I must admit, that's quite high. So let's first talk about how many books I read per month. In January, that were 4 books. In February, I read 9 books. In March, it were 4 books again. Then in April, it were 5. In May, I read a total of 1 book. Very proud of that. I don't know why or what I did, but just 1. Then in June, I read 3 books. In July, I read 4 books. In August, I read 3 books. And in September I read 2 books, and now it comes. In October I read a total of 14 books. I don't know how, I don't know why, but it happened, and I really enjoyed myself in October. I think it might have been because I did Vlogtober this year. I vlogged every day in October, and it made me read so many more books, and I participated in a few readathons, and it got me super hyped for reading books. So that was a great month. Then in November I read 11 books, another awesome reading month. And in December I read 2 books. So that were all the books that I read this year. Still quite a lot, and October and November were my best months. And I think that the autumn is always my best reading time because the weather starts to get gray and gloomy and rainy, and I just sit inside and read, which I personally really enjoy. So let's talk about the format in which I read these books. I read 8 books in hardcover this year. I read 18 paperbacks, 19 ebooks, and 17 audiobooks. And I think that's quite a nice spread of ways to read things. It's almost split in 3, except the hardcovers, but those were just 8 of them. So I'm quite proud of myself by splitting it up so much and reading in different styles, and I really enjoy that. What I really enjoyed this year was reading thrillers as audiobooks, because I think that I find them too scary to read with my eyes, because I am very good at visualizing what I'm reading. But if I listen to it, it's very different. So it becomes very suspenseful, but not too scary. And I won't be freaked out as much. So thrillers as audiobooks works great for me. That's what I've discovered. Then let's see the books per genre. I have read 10 contemporary books, 34 fantasy books, 5 sci-fi, 8 thrillers, 3 historical fiction, and 2 non-fiction books. So as you can see, fantasy is still my favorite genre, but contemporary and thriller are a very close second. And I feel like I read a lot of different stuff. I feel like I change it up enough to not get bored, which is honestly great. Then let's see about the books per age category. I I read 6 middle grade books this year, and I believe I loved them all. I can't quite remember which they all were, but I think I loved all the middle grade books I read, or at least liked them a lot. Then I read 43 YA books, which is a lot. That's a lot. And then lastly, I read 13 adult novels, which I also find quite a lot. I'm really proud of how many books I read. Isn't that clear yet? Alrighty then. Books per star rating. Guess how many stars I gave the most. Oh yeah, you're right, it's 5 stars. I gave 45 books a 5-star rating this year. Like, I don't know if this is because I'm just not critically enough, or if I'm easily pleased, or if I've just chosen the right books for me this year, but it's honestly insane. It's crazy. Then I read 11 4-star books, which is also quite alright. Then I read 5 3-star books, 1 2-star book, and 0 1-star books. So I think I'm quite good at picking the books I read. I'll just avoid anything I dislike, but who knows, I don't. And then lastly, my most read authors this year were Leigh Bardugo at number 1, Laini Taylor at number 2, and Ruth Ware, Victoria Schwab, and why did I forget the 5th one? Okay, and Ruth Ware, Victoria Schwab, and Holly Black share a 3rd place. And I am really happy with that. So, those were my reading stats for this year. Last year, for 2019. And for 2020, I am really wanting to read again more than my Goodreads goal. So I set it at 40 again. That's what it was last year, and it worked for me. And if I read 40 books, it's fine. If I read less than 40 books, it's also fine. If I read way more, perfect. So I think those were all the things I was going to go over right now with you all. I hope you enjoyed listening to this. I hope I took the efforts to put up nice little statistics for you. I don't know. Editing and please do your job. And I want to thank you all for watching, and please like this video. It helps me get my videos out there, and subscribe to my channel because that makes me happy. And then lastly, all right, I love you. Goodbye.